Okay, here I am with a reading from Monday, January 9th, 2019. I'm foggy-brained this morning. The crazy wind woke me up before 4 o'clock. I wasted a bunch of time on Facebook, disappointed in myself, and then tried to do some reading. I'm having a hard time concentrating, though. Lots of stuff going on, lots of events coming up. I've been following some political groups and went to a direct action training yesterday. I feel myself trying to take on too much already, but I really want to get involved in my community, so I guess I just need to stay in touch with myself. I'll make a side note here. After going to Standing Rock, I became inspired to get involved in my own community. I knew that I couldn't just, go off to another state to do this kind of activism work. And at this time, I had been getting involved in politics and activism and human rights and environmental issues and all this stuff. So I was feeling compelled to get involved in my own community. And I found somehow this direct action training that I went to, which was held by a group in my community that worked on, it was like an anti-fracking activist group, because fracking was really big in the area that I lived at on the Front Range in Colorado. So, all right, continuing on. I read an article on some of the ways in which we cause ourselves unnecessary suffering. I won't write them all down, but I did want to take note of a few pertinent habits. Ascribing intent to others' actions, assuming that others have ill will towards us when their innocent actions adversely affect us. This is a list of ways that we cause ourselves unnecessary suffering. Sorry. All right. Not taking risks, letting fear hold us back from taking chances, and comparing ourselves to others. And I wrote those down because they were pertinent to myself. I felt that I certainly did those things, and thereby caused myself unnecessary suffering. Okay, continuing on. Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. The Great Rearrangement was what I termed this transformation months, maybe even a year ago. Apparently the change is noticeable. Even I am amazed at what a difference I see in myself. It feels absolutely wonderful, and I never would have imagined a year ago that I would be where I am now, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's been a year and a half since everything exploded with Alan, and I feel like a completely different person. I feel more like me, and I didn't even know who that was back then. And it's just really wonderful to see. Those people were right. The real true self is full of all these really great qualities that are there all along. It's just a matter of uncovering them. But it's still a process, a journey, as cliche as that sounds. I can't let my ego get in the way and make me think that I've done my due diligence, spiritual materialism. I don't need a pat on the back. The experience itself is reward enough. I feel really great, and even though I know the shiny, glowing feelings won't last, that I will experience more hardships along the way, I feel like I'm I am better equipped to handle them. And I am genuinely excited to see where life takes me next, and next, and next. Saturday, January 14th, 2017. So, Carl Jung said in the Undiscovered Self that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. The ego is a thought process created by ourselves, therefore, a problem created in the mind level of consciousness. Therefore, we must go higher than the mind to solve the problem of our ego. What is higher than the mind? The soul, which is the field of awareness of the spirit, our true selves. So then, how does our soul go about fixing the problem of the ego? By coming into direct contact. The ego is created around the little seeds of dysfunction that are the exiles. But now that we are adults, we are strong enough to handle the pain that the exiles carry. The exiles are little bits of ourself that were wounded when we were very young. At that time, we weren't strong enough to handle their pain, and so we, the false self, banished them outside ourselves and surrounded them with ego parts, managers and firefighters, to keep them from being able to get out and overwhelm the rest of the system with their pain. But now, if we can bring our true self, the soul, into direct contact with the exiles, we can remind them that they are actually parts of our soul, and they will reintegrate. Once the exiles become one with the soul again, all of the other ego parts will disappear because they will no longer have a purpose. And that is how you get rid of the ego. But of course, it is not that easy. At least not for me, anyway. I am so identified with my ego self that it wasn't until only very recently that I even intellectually understood that that is not who I really am. And now, while I understand in theory that my ego is not me, I still haven't really experienced it. So that is where I am now, in the process of getting to know my true self, of practicing awareness and presence in order to actually be able to experience my soul, of practicing meditation in order to find the stillness between the thoughts and emotions, the stillness that is the soul. I am also practicing awareness so that I can discover my exiles and help free them from their prison. It's a lot of hard work, actually. You might not think so, but it is. At least for me, anyway. Maybe the work itself isn't so hard. It's the breaking out of old habits that poses the most difficulty for me. Even still, even when I'm congratulating myself on how well I'm doing, how much positive change is occurring in my life, I still keep up with these habits of distraction. And then I criticize myself for it. I need to find my middle ground. How can I get to a place where I'm not wasting all of this precious time with distraction techniques? And how can I get to a point where I can sit down and enjoy a movie without feeling guilty? How can I get to a place within myself where I can just be? That's the really big question, isn't it? And the big answer? I don't know. Practice, I guess. I've been trying to get involved politically, but I feel like it too is becoming a distraction. And like with everything else, I'm really good at being concerned about stuff. Reading about it, doing research, and then worrying. But I'm not great at the effort part. So maybe I need to pare down on the information gathering and focus some of that energy into action. I'm also doing the same thing with boys. Haha, men, crushes. I spend so much time in the fantasy and let it become real to me that I'm not spending enough time in the reality of the situation to have clarity about it. When I spent time with Sal over the holidays, I built him up in my mind, put him on a pedestal to the point where I wasn't seeing clearly the reality of how very different we are. I wasn't seeing my own actual feelings on the situation, and it almost went way too far until the universe stepped in with a wake-up call. Gosh. There, shush. And I'm doing it again right now. I just had to wake myself up from a daydream I was having about this guy from the Direct Action 101 training that I went to last weekend. I never even spoke to him at the training, but I took notice. He was cute with dreads, but his voice kind of made me swoon. It was really deep and sexy. Anyway, he added me on Facebook afterwards, but never said anything. This afternoon, I'm going to the 201 training and hoping that he will be there. I've never even spoken to him, but I'm daydreaming about what I want to say to him if he shows up at this training. I'd like to get to know him because he seems like a good guy. Based on his Facebook profile, which I looked at when he friended me. That's so lame. I Facebook stalked him. Oh, God. And now I'm having imaginative conversations with him. Oh, my God. That's embarrassing and funny in an embarrassing way. Geez, reality check, Alyssa. Come on, wake up. Sunday, January 15th, 2017. My ego is a mind whore. Shit. I don't even know what that means, but whenever I intend to go into stillness, my mind starts exploding with activity. I am so lazy. I'm still in this trap of thinking that I don't have to do any work. I learn and investigate a thing, acquire the knowledge, and then just expect to be proficient at it, even though I know intellectually that it will take practice. And then when it is not coming naturally to me right away, I lose interest and move on to some other acquisition, some other item to add to my collection. Sigh. I'm still doing it. Of course I'm still doing it. I haven't given it a chance yet. A few measly attempts, and I think that's effort. This quote again. Only when our desire for freedom exceeds our fear are we truly ready to enter the path. I'm ready. The fear doesn't have a hold of me anymore. I'm excited actually to do the work, to discover myself. The hang up is my ego and its behavioral habits. I feel stuck in them, but I know the answer to this. I already know what I need to do. I don't need to be sitting here writing, acting like I'm sorting something out. I already know the answer. All I'm doing here is just procrastinating, avoiding. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. All right. Be well. I will see you guys in the next one.